Well, overall, Johannesburg Water says it's making good progress towards fully restoring supply. Power supply failures have resulted in Rand Water experiencing those severe shortages at its main reservoirs over the last few days. That resulted in water outages or low pressure. And of course, we know that 3 hospitals have been affected in Gauteng. So patients have not been spared, as many residents have found some of the water cuts or outages, complete outages, very devastating. We cross to SABC News reporter Nozintombi Miya. She's outside the Helen Joseph Hospital in Auckland Park area, not far from the SABC. Nozintombi, thank you for being with us. So I understand that you can't get inside the hospital. You haven't been allowed in. But what do you understand the situation to be?
Thank you so much, Francis. We had extensive conversations with the department to get access inside, but I suppose for the security of their patients and staff here, they obviously refused to allow us to do our broadcast inside. However, we are standing outside the Helen Joseph Hospital. And we did get the opportunity to speak to some of the staff that works here. It is 5 o'clock here, Francis. I'm going to ask my camera colleague Sia to just sort of pan towards the entrance where you will see the staff starting to walk out. And a lot of them were quite chatty to us off camera, and what they're saying is that it has been quite difficult for them in terms of the water, specifically in the wards. However, with the public, on the public areas or in the public areas where the visitors come in, there hasn't been a big problem necessarily with water, because you'll remember that Helen Joseph is one of those facilities that do have a borehole. So in terms of them being able to get access to water, they do have a contingency plan in a borehole that was installed here last year. So for public access, it is easier for public visitors to come in and be able to access water at the hospital. However, inside the wards, one of the nurses told us that it is a very bad, very dire situation. She says that the toilets themselves that the patients are using are quite in a filthy, disgusting situation. And her cry is that it just seems as though there's not much being done to assist them or to help them. And you'll recall that Helen Joseph, Francis, is one of the hospitals that has not been exempt from load shedding. So they do get sporadic, they do get intermittent load shedding here, and that compounds the problem. While they do have a generator, the generator is generating the casualty, it's generating the high risk areas, and it is a struggle for that generator to really be able to pump sufficiently for those areas, specifically in the wards, to be able to get that water pumping. Francis.
So, Nozintombi, I mean, it's interesting about the borehole, because we know organizations such as the Gift of the Givers have been helping various institutions out with boreholes. So it sounds like it helps, but to a certain extent, not all the way. And then we're hearing that supply is being restored, but of course it's not immediate. So that situation regarding the toilets, that continues at the hospital where you are right now.
Yeah, that's quite true. As much as services have been restored and suppliers restored, you'll know that when water does get restored, the pressure is very low. So compounding the pressure that was already low here at the hospital, which was an issue that I said staff had complained about, with the water being restored, coming back slowly, it's going to take them at least up until tomorrow morning to really get services implemented. Night staff here at the hospital is going to have to do what they can to try and clean out those toilets. But obviously, they're going to have to get professionals to come in and really do proper plumbing in those areas of those clogged up facilities. What is concerning, however, is that, if patients are inside the wards and they have no access anywhere else to be able to use facilities, they're going to be in that stench overnight. And this is a problem in terms of care, in terms of the hospitals being able to deal effectively with these issues. It's not Helen Joseph's problem. It is an issue that is compounded by Joburg Water as well as electricity. However, it does become quite problematic and compounds on hospitals such as Helen Joseph that are, at the mercy of load shedding and end up having to use the little generators that they have to be able to pump that water. What I thought was quite interesting, Francis, is one of the administrative staff members that we spoke to here said that the generator here actually doesn't reach the administration block. So the administration block ends up in darkness for the 4 or 5 hours that we deal with the load shedding stage 5. So while there are contingency plans being put in place inside the hospital in the high-risk areas, it's just simply not enough. And, the Minister of Water and Sanitation in discussions on how they can assist with generators. It's problematic because it's reactive as opposed to being proactive. There are thousands of patients here that are in the wards that are going to sleep in filth tonight. They're going to be sleeping in filthy toilets and will only be able to get access to water very, very low water pressure if it's clean at that. And we do need to do better. I think hospitals need to do better to be able to ensuring a better quality of care to those people who are coming to public hospitals and don't have access to private healthcare facilities, because this is really where they come in to come and get assistance, and it does make it almost a humanitarian issue that the patients in the wards are forced to deal with a situation like this, Francis.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Nozintombi Miya. She's outside Helen Joseph Hospital in Auckland Park, one of 3 hospitals that we know of that have been severely impacted by the water problems of late in Gauteng.